Norris Hubbard, a 70-year-old billionaire, recently lost his wife and was diagnosed with terminal cancer. He resolved to find a loving partner to whom he could leave his fortune. To achieve this, he disguised himself as a homeless man and met 8 women, seeking someone willing to marry him without considering his wealth.
Norris had always believed that he would outlive his wife, but fate had other plans. His wife, a respected professor at Southern Lake University, had been keeping her illness a secret from him. Her sudden passing took Norris by surprise, leaving him to grieve and reflect on his own mortality. Norris Hubbard was not a typical billionaire. He held shares in numerous Silicon Valley startups, but his modest demeanor would never betray his immense wealth. As he confronted the reality of his own impending demise, Norris had to make a difficult decision regarding his fortune. His relationship with his children were strained, to say the least. His daughter had become estranged from her mother and refused to speak with her. His son, preoccupied with his own life abroad, didn't even attend the funeral. Norris couldn't bear the thought of leaving his wealth to them, as it seemed they had long ago stopped caring for their family. Norris contacted one of his assistants and asked her to find a skilled makeup artist. Upon their arrival, the artist expertly transformed Norris's appearance, making it so that no one could recognize him as the wealthy billionaire from Los Angeles. One of his other assistants took photos of his disguised appearance and posted them on the internet and various dating apps. Soon after, the assistant presented Norris with a list of women who had expressed interest in him. The next day, Norris arrived at the city center to meet 4 women on the same day, one after the other. Unfortunately, it was not a good day for dating. The first woman, a business executive, claimed that she was far too busy with her career to entertain a relationship with someone who appeared to have no ambition or prospects. Norris tried to cite books and some romance poems, but she wasn't interested in that. The second woman, a yoga instructor, stated that she was on a spiritual journey, and that Norris's unkempt appearance suggested he wasn't ready to align his energies with hers. Norris tried to explain to her that the appearance and the inner energy may not be aligned all the time, but she just didn't listen to him. The third woman, a single mother, said that she was solely focused on raising her child and couldn't afford to take any risks with a man who didn't seem to have a stable foundation. Norris felt that the woman was interested only in her child and never saw Norris as her man. Lastly, the fourth woman, an artist, told Norris that she was seeking a partner who could inspire her creativity and support her emotionally, but his disheveled appearance indicated that he might not be capable of providing either. She was the only woman who wasn't interested in money, but Norris felt that he wasn't as creative as she wanted. Feeling disheartened by these rejections, Norris continued his search, hoping to find someone who could see past his disguise and connect with him on a deeper level. The following day, Norris decided to change his approach and explore a different part of the city, known for its educated and cultured residents. As they were observing a young woman he was considering to approach for a date, Norris noticed her sitting in a restaurant. To his dismay, he saw her mocking and taunting the waiter, treating him with utter disrespect. Disappointed by her behavior, Norris decided she wasn't the type of person he was looking for and chose not to enter the restaurant. Next, Norris's driver took him to a park where he was scheduled to meet another potential companion. As he watched from the car window, he observed the woman with her child. To his disappointment, she was shouting at the child, demanding that they sit still and not make any noise. It was clear to Norris that she lacked the patience and understanding he sought in a partner. With a subtle gesture, Norris signaled to his driver to leave the park. It was becoming increasingly apparent that finding the right person would be more challenging than he initially thought. A little later, feeling sad and disappointed, Norris asked his driver to drop him off at the city center. He decided to take a walk, hoping the vibrant atmosphere would lift his spirits. In a moment of frustration, he decided to approach a beautiful woman directly. He asked her if she would be interested in marrying him for money, as he no longer wanted to hide his wealth. However, the woman replied that she wasn't just interested in financial security. She also desired a partner with a good physique, not a 70-year-old man's rotting fruits. This blunt rejection stung, but it also served as a reminder to Norris that he needed to find someone who would love and accept him for who he was, regardless of his age or wealth. It was only then that he would find the meaningful connection he was seeking. He grew increasingly desperate as the search for the right woman to share his final days seemed fruitless. The time was ticking, and Norris started to believe that money couldn't buy him the happiness and companionship he sought. In a moment of desperation, he came up with the idea of buying people themselves. He thought perhaps that some homeless individual in the city might be willing to sell or rent their lives to him for 2 weeks. Although he knew this arrangement wouldn't be genuine, he believed it might temporarily fill the void he felt. He decided to venture into the heart of the city, where the homeless sought solace from the harsh realities of their lives. He found himself in a place where the downtrodden huddled together for warmth and companionship. As he approached a dimly lit trash can, the flickering flames casting eerie shadows on the cold ground, he noticed 3 women huddled together. The first woman, her face weathered and etched with lines of hardship, wore tattered clothes that barely protected her from the chill. The second woman appeared younger, but equally ravaged by life's cruel twists. Her hair was matted and unkempt, and her once vibrant features now dulled by hunger and fatigue. Then there was the third woman. Her appearance was strikingly different from the others. Despite her ragged clothes and disheveled hair, there was a stubborn resilience in her eyes that drew Norris in. Her posture conveyed a sense of honesty and determination that set her apart from the others. She seemed like a person who, despite being brought to her knees by life's challenges, remained unbroken and resolute. As Norris observed her, he couldn't help but feel a growing sense of intrigue. Norris approached the women, his gaze fixed on the third one. Gathering his courage, he spoke directly to her. "Hey, would you like to make some real money? Just spend 2 weeks with me, and I'll pay you generously. I can even give you more than you ever imagined." The woman, unfazed by his offer, looked him in the eyes and said, "No." Undeterred, Norris tried to persuade her further. "You don't understand," he insisted. "I can change your life. I can provide you with a warm home, food, and everything you need." But the woman wouldn't budge. "You are not in a grocery shop," she replied, her voice calm and resolute. "I don't need your money or your home." Norris was taken aback by her response. The other 2 women, having overheard the conversation, eagerly approached Norris. "We're ready for anything. Whatever money you can give us, let's go. Take us to your home." However, Norris's attention remained fixed on the third woman. Frustrated by her refusal and growing more impatient, he blurted out rudely, "How much?" She looked puzzled. "What do you mean, how much?" Norris clarified. "How much money do you want for a night?" Taken back, she responded firmly, "Listen, I don't know who you are, but I'm definitely not an escort, so—" But Norris persisted. "Just 1 night, or day, whatever. Be with me." The third woman shrugged, still not understanding what Norris was trying to convey. In desperation, he shouted, "I'll pay you 10 grand a night, or double, or triple, whatever it takes." But she simply turned her back and said, "Goodbye, mister. I hope you find someone who suits your needs." Stunned by her unwavering stance, Norris decided to open up and share his story. As he recounted the tales of his life, his wife passing, and his terminal diagnosis, his voice wavered with emotion. He finally revealed that he only had 2 weeks left to live, and he was desperate for someone to help him navigate his final days. The other 2 women sobbed upon hearing his heart-wrenching story. The third woman, however, turned to face Norris once again. As she looked into his eyes, she said softly, "Fine, let's go. I'll do whatever you need to help you leave this world with dignity and peace. You don't have to pay me. I'm not doing this for the money." Norris smiled as he began to explain his true identity to the woman. "I need to tell you something," he said, hesitant. "I'm not really homeless. I'm actually quite wealthy. I disguised myself to find someone genuine and caring, like you." She nodded, a gentle smile on her face. "It's okay to change your appearance sometimes, and honestly, I had a feeling you weren't really homeless." Feeling relieved, Norris took out his phone and called his assistant. "Get my lawyer and prepare the spa for our arrival. We have a special guest." Upon arriving at the luxurious mansion, the assistant greeted them warmly and showed the woman and Norris to the spa, directing them to separate areas. For the first time in a long while, Norris felt both happiness and a sense of calm. Norris had groomed himself back to his usual appearance, looking clean and polished. Dressed in a stylish, expensive silk robe, he appeared even younger and more distinguished than before. He met with his lawyer in the large meeting room where they quickly drafted a rough template for his will. Norris decided to leave his entire fortune to the homeless woman who had captured his heart. Moments later, the woman entered the room, and Norris and the lawyer were rendered speechless by her transformation. She appeared to be a stunning woman in her mid-30s, wearing a red silk robe that accentuated her beauty. Caught off guard, Norris and the lawyer were at a loss for words. With a confident smile, the woman asked, "Hey, what's next?" Stuttering, the lawyer attempted to explain the will to her, while Norris simply nodded and echoed the lawyer's last spoken words. After listening for a couple of minutes, the woman sneezed and declared that the topic was boring and she wasn't there for the money. She walked over to the lawyer, snatched the papers from his hands, and tore them into pieces before tossing them into the fireplace. "I'm tired," she announced. "I'm going to sleep. You should rest too, Norris. Tomorrow we have a hiking adventure." With that, she shut the door behind her and retreated to her room. Norris, still speechless, stared at the door, contemplating the extraordinary turn of events. The next morning, the woman woke Norris up in his bed. She smiled at him and said, "Hi, sleepyhead. My name is Lila Hoffman. Now get your butt up and let's go." Norris had thousands of employees, and no one had ever spoken to him with such authority. Caught off guard, he did as she instructed. Normally, he would have slept until noon to ensure a full rest, but now it was 7 a.m. Apparently, Lila had already ordered Norris's assistant to prepare his hiking outfit and some breakfast. He was in shock, but Lila took him by the hand and they began their hike. They walked for over an hour, and Norris was famished, but Lila didn't let him eat. "Let your fluids and acids work through your digestive system," she advised. "It's better to expend some energy before replenishing it." Norris and Lila enjoyed one of his best breakfasts since his wife's death at the top of the hill overlooking Los Angeles. For the first time in a long while, Norris felt truly alive. Lila continued to wake him up early every day, taking him on hikes and organizing other activities such as beach walks and visits to the local zoo to observe flowers and small animals. As the days went by, Norris found himself smiling more and more, which eventually turned into laughter. Soon, he realized he was feeling better than he had in years. With Lila's unwavering support and companionship, Norris began to appreciate the simple joys of life and embrace the precious moments that remained. Lila was a whirlwind of energy, doing her utmost to show Norris the beauty of the world once more. Her laughter, jokes, and compliments made him feel younger with each passing day. Before they knew it, 2 weeks had gone by, and it was time for Norris's doctor to pay a visit. Before meeting with the doctor, Norris confessed his love for Lila. Regardless of what happened next, he wanted to leave his wealth to her. Lila responded thoughtfully, "You know, Norris, that I was once a very wealthy woman myself, but I lost my husband and 3 children in the California fires. After that tragedy, I donated all my money to charity and chose to live as a homeless person. I don't need your money. I need you to be alive for me." As they shared this emotional moment, the doctor arrived to conduct his analysis. After the doctor collected his samples and left for the lab, Norris and Lila spent their first night together in the same bed. The next morning, the doctor gathered them in the conference room to discuss the results displayed on a projector. Norris and Lila held hands, bracing for the news, but the doctor was grinning from ear to ear. "Mr. Hubbard," the doctor exclaimed, "this is truly shocking and extremely rare, but your cancer is in decline. I don't know how it's happening, but Mrs. Hoffman's efforts are paying off. I can confidently say you have more months to live." Norris looked at Lila and smiled. "Not today, honey. I'm not dying today." Lila playfully elbowed him and retorted, "Oh, come on. I already prepared my black dress for your big day." They laughed and shared a tender kiss. From that day forward, Lila continued to take Norris hiking every morning for the next 4 years. A year later, they welcomed a beautiful daughter into their lives. Norris donated most of his wealth to charity, choosing to live a simpler and more fulfilling life. People say they still see Norris and Lila hiking together near Griffith Observatory at 7 a.m., a testament to the power of love and the enduring human spirit.